Chama Wingapo, Chama Chame, Nutadawins TashaXi. My name is TashaXi. And we're going to get into Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that's what it's called. Basically, the Fred Hampton movie. It's not, I assumed it's going to be more of a Fred Hampton biopic, but it's not. It's mostly about the man named William or Bill O'Neill, who was an informant in the Black Panther Party in Chicago. And he gave up a lot of information on Fred Hampton and all the happenings with the Black Panther Party. So we're going to get into that. And I'm going to give y'all a straight up honest opinion. And I'm going to expose a lot of stuff that you see in the background. Those of us who can see in the background when you watch this movie. So grab your pen and your pad and let's start digging, turtles. All right, so this is like my third time recording this, and I went a little deep on here. So I recorded on my phone, and then I come back the next day to listen to what I recorded, and it says it's 17 minutes, but then it only lets me listen to 1 minute of what I said. That don't sound weird. I don't know what else does. All right, and then the second part that I recorded, it didn't record everything either, or it didn't keep everything. But anyways, let's get down to it. We're going to go into the review of the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, okay? And it's not a coincidence that this movie's coming out during so-called Black History Month, and it's starring a non-American person. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that right about now. So the star of the movie Judas and the Black Messiah is Daniel Kaluuya. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm just going to call him Daniel. Y'all know I butcher names. Daniel. And he's in the movie. He's in the movie Get Out. He's in a couple films, and he's a good actor, I'll say. I like watching his films or whatever. But just like with the Harriet movie, it's like, why are you getting foreign people to play such prominent roles in our leaders, in our historical figures for people of color, quote unquote, or the so-called Black or so-called African American people? They don't do this for no other race. Okay, not even for other American groups. You do not see foreign people playing George Washington, etc. So it's really a slap in our face. Putting it out during so-called Black American, it's really Black American, so-called Black American History Month. It's not really for everybody in the world. It's for here. Okay, it's a holiday here. Okay, and it's featuring most of our people. But that's a whole nother subject. I'm not about to get into that now. I'm going to get into the movie. So in this movie, it was a good movie. Now, if you're just a regular person that's just going to see the movie and you want to be entertained, and you want to learn a little bit of the history, because it was pretty accurate from looking at documentaries and other articles and books on the subject. It's pretty accurate to what really happened, because they consulted people who were really there, including the former fiance of Fred Hampton, okay, as well as his son, who changed his name to Fred Hampton Jr., okay. So it's a pretty accurate movie. The movie has a good pace. You're not going to get bored. Okay, but as a person who's a writer, who knows movies, who's been a critic since Siskel and Ebert days, Me and my brother used to watch Siskel and Ebert every week. Like, for that, there's some flaws in it. Okay. Now, the point with the characters is one of the flaws. Both the main characters, I feel like, are not three-dimensional. And what I mean by that is you don't really know much about them. I'm sorry, about it. You know all about what happened, okay, the incident, things like that. But we really do not get to know anything much about Fred Hampton or William O'Neill, the guy who plays the informant. We don't see their parents. We don't see any family members, even though some of the family members were involved, like Fred Hampton's. We don't see people that they knew back in the day from school. Nothing. We don't see anything like that. We don't even know much about Bill at all. They call him Bill in the movie. They call him Wild Bill in the movie. Don't know nothing about where he lived. They don't even show where he lived at, really. Don't know if he has a girlfriend. Don't know if he has children. Don't know his mama, daddy, brother, sister, cousin. We don't know nothing. He's like a NPC in The Sims. They just disappear in the night after they leave your sim house. That's what he does in every scene. Fred Hampton, they only show like his apartment towards the end of the movie. Still, again, we don't see his mama, daddy. Even though his mom and daddy, after he died, were very active. So we don't know anything much about his family life. He told like one story maybe. And that's even compared to a whole bunch of minor characters we knew more about. We saw their mothers. We heard stories about them when they were 7 years old. Fred, not so much, okay? But I'll say, even though they got someone who was not American playing Fred Hampton, he did get he really got the accent down, which was hard. Now, his accent is not the typical Chicago accent, for one thing. He has a lot of that Eastern Shore, Virginia accent, as well as a little bit of that Louisiana, because a lot of them people from Louisiana are from the Virginia Eastern Shore, Virginia, Maryland, Eastern Shore area. This guy is British, Daniel K. And he really got that accent down. He got his mannerisms, his whole energy, he had gotten it down. Even though I don't like that it's not even down to him. He's an actor. He's going to take jobs, okay? It's down to people who are in the behind the scenes, doing production, casting, directing, all of that. That's on them. Okay. So I believe the same person who wrote the movie also directed it. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to go back and check. But anyways, y'all, I'm breathing hard on this because I'm trying to not trying to go in because I enjoyed the movie and I enjoy the effort that, I know it was somebody melanated who wrote and directed. So I'm not going to go too much in, but the movie is entertaining. If you already know the story of Fred Hampton, you're not going to really be surprised. One of the surprises for me, because from the stories that I heard, and this is back when, when I was first getting into information, I kind of came in through people who are more so-called pro-black, I don't know. They weren't quite Pan-Africans, they weren't quite anything else, but they were like, they're for their people. Nothing wrong with that. I'll just say, a lot of the stories were built on a lot of rhetoric that didn't really have to do with Fred Hampton, having to do with other Panthers and, how they spoke and behaved. Fred Hampton, he wasn't like that. He said all power to the people. He didn't say just so-called black people. And that was his thing. And this is another thing. So I think this is the reason why my dang on thing kept messing up, because I was going in on Jesse Jackson. Yes, Messy Jesse. I know y'all like, where does Messy Jesse come in on the story? Okay, so what a lot of people don't know is Fred Hampton was the original creator of the Rainbow Coalition. Jesse Jackson stole all of his stuff. Jesse Jackson was there. Y'all already know what Jesse Jackson did with Martin Luther King. I ain't even going to go into that. Jesse Jackson actually did the eulogy at Fred Hampton's funeral, which I thought was strange. And this is not in the movie. I thought it was really strange. So just looking through the movie, I'm like, okay, this seems like Jesse Jackson. And then when you look at closer, you're like, no, this is Fred Hampton. Okay, so it's Jesse Jackson was taking the energy from Fred Hampton after he died. Okay, all that stuff in the 70s and 80s, the Rainbow Coalition, even his saying, I am somebody. Okay, years ahead before that, Fred Hampton said, I am a revolutionary. Okay, so which one is stronger? I am somebody. Anybody can be somebody. Or a revolutionary. So he just basically, he's been mounting that man's energy all through the 70s, 80s, until he had all that scandal in the 90s. Okay, so that was all. If for those that can see, you can see what I'm talking about, okay? When I'm talking about people stealing energy and mount energy, I see it all the time. People try to steal my energy, and they are like, I don't see it. I see y'all stealing my energy. This is what's going on here with that, okay? So that whole thing with the Rainbow Coalition, the I am a revolutionary or I am somebody, that came from Fred Hampton. Okay. Anyways, let's get back to it, to the movie. Another thing about the movie was it was kind of like we were not immersed into the feeling of the revolution. Okay, we got what happened. All right, it's like somebody just sitting there looking and seeing what's going on, but it wasn't like somebody was in on the work they were doing. And let me go back to the Rainbow Coalition thing. They showed in the movie, which I didn't know, like I was saying, I didn't know, that Fred Hampton was meeting with all these different groups of people in the city. Most of the people had grievances with the local authorities. These were Puerto Rican groups. And then there were like these radical so-called white groups. Okay. These people had rebel flags up in the meetings. All different types of stuff. And Fred Hampton walked right up in the meeting with a big rebel flag, and he talked to the people, and they listened, and they agreed with him, because he was saying, like, y'all children are having the same bad schools, y'all having the same issues with the authorities, y'all paying taxes and not getting things done just like us. We need to all come together and get stuff done. And they were like, yeah, you're right. So then you see them all come together, and that was the Rainbow Coalition, okay? The radical so-called white groups, the Puerto Rican groups, all these different groups of people came together with the Panthers, and even other local gangs called the Crowns, and, organizations. You can call them organizations. All these different organizations that people thought would beef with Fred Hampton and the Panthers were coming together with them. And that was something that scared the alphabet people. That scared them, and that made him a target. Now, in the movie, they didn't show Fred Hampton before. This is stuff that we would have liked to have saw him. How was he as a child? How was he as a teen? Right before he became a Panther. All these things they left out the movie. Now, they don't show Fred Hampton. He grew up in Maynard. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Illinois, which is like a suburbs. And if you look on the internet, you can see pictures of him in high school, and you see, he went to school with so-called white people and so-called black people. Okay, and he wasn't a street. He was not a street dude. Nothing wrong with that. He doesn't have to be a street dude. But this movie didn't show you that. They didn't show that he was trying to go to law school and things like that in high school. You know, he learned the law. He did a lot of stuff dealing with the law. And he worked with the NAACP. And they kind of, in the movie, they kind of scoffed off the NAACP. It's almost like the writer didn't do a lot of research. He only researched that certain era. Well, maybe that was the focus. It probably was the focus of the movie, mostly on Bill O'Neal and what happened with him. Okay. So, if you don't know who Bill O'Neal is, he was a government informant. He was the one that helped them basically assassinate Fred Hampton, assassinate his character, and then assassinate his body. Okay, because they can't assassinate his spirit. The spirit is still here and still alive. Okay, all right. And a lot of this information comes from a documentary you can find on YouTube about William O'Neal or Bill O'Neal being an informant. And he told the whole story about what happened. And then the night that it aired in 1990, I think it was on PBS, he ended his life. So, you know, that was a lot because he lived for 21 years after Fred died or was assassinated. So it was, he really was really deceiving a lot of people for a long time. And either it caught up with him in his conscience or some other people didn't want to see him telling his story. Okay, but he's no longer with us. After that night that it aired, it was too much. But you guys can go back. Let me know you want me to put the link to watch it in the description box. Well, I'll just do that because it'll give you insight on the different programs that they had, watching our leaders, watching our groups, and seeing the psychological aspect of what they were doing. And, a lot of people were talking about why are people in positions that they are. Well, that's part of it. It wasn't just people failing. People were being sabotaged. People were being murdered, assassinated. Character, spirit, well, not spirit. Character and body wise. Okay, they're trying to kill the spirit or the soul of any type of movements that anyone of any race were having at that time. Okay, so this whole nother subject, I'm not going to get too deep. Not going too deep in that, but y'all can do the research on that yourself. Okay, so all in all, I would give this movie a thumbs up. I suggest you watch it. It's if you have HBO Max, you can watch it for free or watch it from your subscription. If you want to watch it for free, y'all know how to do. Y'all know, y'all know what to do. And I think it may be available on demand for a fee on certain cable or satellite services. So y'all go ahead and do that. But yeah, I think it's a good movie. It's a must see. So go ahead and check that out. All right, so y'all check it out whichever way y'all want to check it out, and let me know in the comment section below how you feel. What did you get from the movie? Did you think that my assessment or my review was correct? What do you think they could have done different? Did you like it? How you feel about Daniel K. playing Fred Hampton? How you feel about Lakeith Stansfield playing Bill O'Neal? I think he really looked like Bill O'Neal. If you go look, I'm going to put the video in the description box. Look at Bill O'Neal. He had the mannerisms, he had the hair, everything. He looked like him. He was him, right? I think it was some great acting. Oh, another thing I want to talk about was the character that played Deborah Johnson. Deborah Johnson is the or was the fiance of Fred Hampton at the time he was assassinated. She was actually there when it happened, okay, and she, by the grace of the universe, wasn't killed or hurt very badly herself. And they had used this new actress, which she's coming up. She was in Project Power with Jamie Foxx, and now she is starring. Well, she starred in that one too. Now she's starring as the love interest, or in the B story, as us writers know about the B story line in this movie, Judas and the Black Messiah. So her name is Dominique Fishback. It's a different name. I keep wanting to say Fishburne because I'm used to Larry Fishburne or Lawrence Fishburne. But her name is Dominique Fishback. And I like that they chose her. It was something different. You know, they like to choose the same look of women. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And Dominique, she looked like a real sister. She's cute, but she looks like a real sister that you will see walking around in Chicago, right? And she kind of looks like the real woman, right? They just, I think they look different. But she had that whole, the baby fro, the cute little fro. She had that whole look down pat. And she's a good actress as well. So I really enjoyed the acting in this movie. And that comes down to the director. The director was great. And, of course, if he wrote the story, he knew exactly how to direct it. So that was a good choice. I really enjoyed the movie, I'll say that. Even though I felt like the main characters could have been more three-dimensional. This is a new writer, it's an up-and-coming writer, so you can't just be that hard on them. But they put the story out, and I think that was the main point. Now, another issue that I almost left out about this movie is Daniel Kaluuya, or however you say his name, who is Kenyan descent from Africa, is playing Fred Hampton, who is American. You look at the pictures, they look night and day. Like, they do not look anything alike. And it's kind of an insult, really, to us that they're going to get someone from Kenya, not even West Africa, to keep up the lies. But they're going to get somebody from Kenya to play one of our legends, Fred Hampton. And we saw a similar thing happen with the Harriet movement. Then they're going to have the movie come out during so-called Black History Month, which is more of an insult. And then the movie is showing that basically our own people was the one who really had the access to get him killed. Okay, the alphabet people would not been able to put their plans in motion if it wasn't for one of us feeding them information, drawing up diagrams of the buildings and things like that. Okay, so y'all gotta really think about that. So if you look at the real pictures of Fred Hampton, he's an attractive guy. He's a brown skin. He has dimples. And then they have Daniel Kaluuya. I think he's attractive, but he's a darker, dark skin. They just got a different head shape, different look. He doesn't have the dimples. They just don't look alike. Okay, no offense to Daniel. Like I said, I think he's an attractive guy, but he does not look like Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton clearly looks American. He does not look African, West African, East African, South African. He looks like he's from here, okay? And clearly, he is from here. And I haven't done his genealogy, but his accent, he has this Maryland, Virginia, that Eastern Shore type of accent. So I'm assuming that his peoples are from the Eastern Shore. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another video looking up his genealogy, but they look totally different. So I didn't want to talk about it because I had recorded it and didn't say anything. But I know y'all, that's what y'all want to hear from me. So I had to say it. And there's no offense to Daniel Kaluuya because I think is he was he was acting really good. And it's totally different than the Nigerian woman in the Harriet movie. He's always been respectful. He's had never made any little petty comments. He really got the accent down. At first, when I saw the trailer, I was like, what is this mess? But then you go back and watch videos of Fred Hampton. He had the movement. They had the wardrobe down because they had Fred Hampton's family involved in the production. His son and the son's mother were involved. I don't want to call her baby mama again, but they were involved in the making of it, okay? And then I like that they have this woman, where they have Dominique Fishback playing the role of the child's mother, and she was really good. She's really coming up as an actress. I'm seeing her in a lot of things, and she's coming out strong in big films, so hopefully we'll see more from her in the future. But yeah, Daniel was really good in this movie. He was very respectful, and he seemed to have done his research. And he really embodied the spirit of Fred Hampton, okay? So I don't see, honestly, at first I was a little like, why do they keep doing this? But he really did his research, and he really put respect on Fred Hampton's name in this one. And they really made Fred Hampton out to look good or look like himself. They didn't demonize him, but they didn't totally make him seem like he's a saint. He was a regular person. And he really was trying to help people. And he was really willing to die to help those people. And then it wasn't just people of color, okay? Which was interesting. But, yeah, it was a good movie. And I suggest people actually go out and research Fred Hampton and all the people involved in the movie. Well, thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment below. Please share. A lot of people are not getting notifications because I'm not getting a lot of shares. So the algorithms and YouTube have changed. So you need a lot of people sharing your video, a lot of people commenting and liking. So this is free. If y'all could just do that to help the channel out, so I can bring more videos to you and go more places and show y'all more things and more information. Okay? So I really enjoyed doing this video. I appreciate you all. Please put your questions below. Share. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And in the Powhatan language, to say goodbye, we say ana. So ana.